In this episode, Expo 2025, a lab for future tech society opens up in Japan. Why China is ahead of the curve again. Also, first baby ever conceived by a robot. UK protesting against AI that predicts crime, and more. Let's get it. The land of the rising sun. You may know it for the cherry blossoms, the bullet trains, and the weirdly shaped watermelons. That is, until now, because Expo 2025 threw its doors open this week. It's a ginormous exhibition of robots and technologies of the future held in Osaka. The underlying current of the trade show is, quote, designing the future society for our lives, end quote. The event will last 6 months and will gather over 160 participating countries. As always, we got our eyes on the prize. Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro, a superstar around these parts, has created a pavilion for the exhibition that demonstrates how we'll live side by side with human androids in 50 to 100 years. Water flows down the black walls symbolizing birth, and inside, visitors can operate over 40 androids like avatars. All of them have had increased durability built in so that they can withstand the entire period of interacting with visitors. The pavilion itself consists of 3 areas. Area 1, Journey of a Lifetime, where historical artifacts of Japan are put on display. Area 2, The Future of 2075, where visitors can think about how we'll be living in half a century. And Area 3, Maharoba, Life in the Next Millennium, where you can see robots and androids unlike anything you've ever seen. Visually, Area 3 is the most stunning. Yay or nay? Ishiguro himself says the goal of his pavilion is to get people to think about where we're going and take responsibility for our future, and also to accept the fact that robots will surround us everywhere. The strangest robot on display was, of course, the robot horse from Kawasaki. No joke, this is how the company sees mobility in 2050. In total, there were 3 concepts for future transportation, and here they are. The Corleo robot horse is a personal mobility device for safe travel through dangerous terrain on a 150 cubic inch hydrogen engine. Controls are intuitive. The robot obeys the movements and tilts of the passenger's body, or is it the driver? What would you prefer to be called if someone saw you on this bad boy? At the same time, Corleo is equipped with artificial intelligence and a stabilization system. It's able to place itself on a map and choose the optimal support points on the most difficult routes. You can even ride it at night, as Corleo can see everything and illuminates the path with arrows for guides. The robot's hind legs are equipped with additional joints to improve shock absorption. However, some saw this as an opportunity for the robot horse to throw the rider off if there's a machine uprising in 2050, for example. The beast is equipped with a windshield, which is justified given that the gallop speeds exceed 50 miles or 80 kilometers an hour. It also has a dashboard that shows the fuel tank, navigation, center of gravity, and more. Now, the second concept from Kawasaki is the Aaah system. Apparently, this is the future of public transportation. Well, sort of public. It's available to everyone, but you can ride in it alone. These are personalized cabs that you can hail with an app. There you can also specify the destination and the number of passengers. In response, the system will send route options. Do you want a quiet trip with beautiful views or just the fastest one, for example? Quite a relevant choice of options for Japan if you've ever been. Moreover, Aah's cabins can be combined not only with a hydrogen-powered car, but also with a train, a ship, even an airplane. For additional comfort, the cabins are equipped with a robot car and a concierge, which should fulfill all your wishes during the trip. How do you like them apples, folks? Finally, Kawasaki's third concept is the affordable OQ-Void electric generator, which combines a hydrogen engine for Kawasaki's motorcycles as well as other components, such as a generator and an inverter. Which of the 3 concepts would you guys choose? Let us know in the comments. Moving on. It's not surprising that visitors to the Chinese pavilion in Osaka are greeted by a robot, given the development of humanoid robotics coming from Beijing. The same android doubles as a tour guide. And here we see a new humanoid model from UB Robotics Walker C, which looks slightly simpler than the previous versions of Walker S1 and the basic Walker. Apparently, the company is looking to develop an affordable and functional model that can compete with Unitree's relatively cheap and certainly capable G1. Walker C is an all-electric robot that stands at 5'4" or 163 centimeters tall and weighs almost 100 pounds or 43 kilos. It supports a number of languages and can welcome guests, accompany, and entertain them in offices and hotels. The robot has more than 20 degrees of freedom and can run steadily at a speed of almost 4 miles or 6 kilometers per hour. Among the robot's claimed abilities: self-balancing, autonomous adaptation to any terrain, decision-making based on multimodal large language models, coordination, complex human and environmental perception, and semantic navigation through a 3D point cloud. On top of all of that, developers say that the robot has dexterous hands. Once there's more demos, we'll be sure to let you guys know. The Chinese Pavilion itself at Expo 2025 covers an area of just a tad under an acre, or more than 3,500 square meters. In addition to robots and artificial intelligence technologies, lunar soil samples collected from both sides of the moon are on display as well. Now, if you think that that's the cherry on top, wrong. The test section of China's manned deep-sea vehicle Jiaolong. Stay tuned for more. Even though Osaka kickstarted the Expo just recently, Lift Aircraft Incorporated has already booted up their Hexa eVTOL for demo flights, which basically means they're now open for business in Japan. Earlier, the company started Hexa on reconnaissance flights around Texas. Now the Japanese will also be able to undergo training and partake in this miracle of flight. The company doesn't sell any airplanes, but gives everyone the opportunity to fly for a couple of shekels, since you don't need a pilot's license for such a vehicle. Would you jump in one of these? Let us know in the comments. On to more cool knickknacks stationed in Osaka. We've already mentioned robots that work as guides at the exhibition, but have you seen this AI suitcase? These navigation bots offer tours lasting 20 or 50 minutes for regular visitors as well as visually impaired guests. And Honda showcased its Uni-1 personal electric mobility device, which is basically a wheelchair on steroids. It can be operated hands-free and has extended reality games built in. Japan's largest toy manufacturer, Bandai, has unveiled their Gundam Next Future Pavilion at Osaka Expo 2025 with a life-size statue of the legendary Gundam robot. It's assembled from parts of the robot that rocked Yokohama with its one-man shows. There, the giant Gundam robot could strike various poses and move its arms. By the way, it's still unclear as to why the robot was dismantled and became just a statue in Osaka. But back in Bandai Pavilion itself, it will be possible to see space tech that is yet to be realized. For example, an orbital elevator. And SkyDrive unveiled a demonstration flight of its flying car. The pilotless SkyDrive SD05 model flew 16 feet or 5 meters off the ground and hovered for about 4 minutes. However, in theory, the device, which is about 36 feet or 11 meters long, can fly up to 9 miles or 15 kilometers on a single charge. SkyDrive first demonstrated a flight with a pilot on board in 2020, and there has been little news about the project ever since. It seems that despite the announced regular flights this summer, Japan is somewhat dragging its feet in developing and introducing flying cars compared to, for example, China, where EHang has already received permission to commercially fly its air cab. That's right, if you watched our previous videos, you'd know that China will be the first in the world to launch air cabs. First routes will open in Guangzhou and Hefei, where customers will be able to buy a ticket for low-altitude sightseeing tours. In the future, EHang plans to develop urban air transportation, a network of heliports and flight control centers. EHang's product line includes electric passenger vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, drones for logistics and delivery, and devices capable of performing choreographed light shows. Another Chinese company, Unitree, hasn't yet shown up to the party. It's a tease though, promising robot fights. Like real ones. Think Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. If all goes according to plan, then we are less than a month away from witnessing the birth of a robot Mike Tyson. So subscribe to the channel for more updates from Osaka Expo 2025. On to other news now. One of the key players in the humanoid robot market, Figure, has unveiled 2 updates to its robot at once. First, the humanoid has learned to walk like a human. This task has long been considered a threshold among humanoid developers. It's great, right? Or whoop-de-doo. What do you guys think? Now here is a new video from Figure. It's about the work their robots do at BMW. But can you hear a tiny scandal a-brewing? Allegedly, startup's founder Brett Adcock has been exaggerating the number and role of his robots in the carmaker's production over the past year. Then, Adcock announced a signed and sealed contract with BMW and indicated that Figure's quote-unquote fleet of robots were already working on the line. Now, however, a reputable source inside BMW came out saying they have never had more than 1 robot working at a time, and previously it was only trained to shuffle parts after hours. Whose side are you guys on? Before you make a decision, new info just dropped. Figure will indeed be laboring on a real line this year, moving a car part for subsequent welding. Meanwhile, the founder of the startup, now seeking to raise an additional $1.5 billion in investment, has claimed robots, plural, and end-to-end operations at the factory, while BMW has actually confirmed only 1 machine present. Something just doesn't add up, does it? When asked about this discrepancy, both the Figure founder and a BMW spokesperson declined to comment. What gives? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now this next one will make you feel Blade Runner-y. The first ever baby artificially conceived by a robot has been born in the United States. Well, okay, it's not actually what you might think, it's just that robots are now into IVF, otherwise known as in vitro fertilization. Previously, seed introduction into the cytoplasm was carried out by a qualified embryologist. Now it can be done by a platform based on artificial intelligence. It automates all 23 steps of the procedure, ensuring unrivaled accuracy and consistency. At the same time, algorithms control not only microinjections, but also lasers, which are needed to immobilize specific runners, if you catch that drift, son. Developers from Conceivable Life Sciences have already proven the effectiveness of the system by testing it on a patient with a failed IVF experience. The robotic system took about 40 minutes for 5 eggs to develop normally, and as a result, the patient gave birth to a healthy baby. Scientists say the AI-based platform will improve the speed, accuracy, and success rate of IVFs. Meanwhile, British authorities, instead of banning machetes, for example, are creating an algorithm to seek out potential criminals. That's right, Minority Report in action. Such tech has long been in the works for law enforcement officials in many countries. Something similar is already in place in the United States, and now the British Ministry of Justice is also talking about creating a crime prediction system. Here's what we know. Databases with criminal records from British police were used for this development. Information on anywhere between 100,000 to 500,000 people was fed into AI and then analyzed. Health, both mental and physical, addictions, and other sensitive data. Human rights activists are ringing the alarm, since apparently British police have been accused of systemic racism for years. Now, we've seen it before. AI trained on biased data becomes super biased. Just Google Claude AI ADL. But the experiment is ongoing, with the Ministry of Justice promising to report later. If any of our viewers have any information about this, please shoot us an email found on our contact page or type it in the comments. Now, who would have thought a decade ago that Boston Dynamics would have to fight for place under the sun in the humanoid robot market? That's right, Atlas had to go out looking for work, and it seems to have found it. Hyundai said it's ready not only to help Boston Dynamics set up production, but will also buy tens of thousands of the company's robots for its own use. Hyundai is already deploying spot robots for industrial inspection and preventive maintenance at its facilities. But Atlas will have to work directly at factories, bringing real benefits and helping the car maker to remain one of the market leaders. Hyundai Motor Group plans to build up its partnerships overseas, splurging $21 billion on foreign direct investments in the US alone, $6 billion of which will specifically go to R&D. And Disney, suffering from the shame of the recent Snow White flop, announced it's moving towards autonomous robotic characters for its theme parks. Their engineers are now working on creating a database of expressive human interaction. For example, in this video, you can see a robot being remotely controlled. The operator intuitively matches the robot's movements to the stance and behavior of a person. All of this is recorded and sent to a special AI model for training. So soon, Disney robots will be able to mimic emotions and communicate with people on their own. While robot manufacturers around the world are working hard to create the ultimate humanoid brain, Chinese companies have teamed up for faster results. In July this year, the National Innovation Center for Humanoid Robotics will be launched in Shanghai. Already today, the 1.25 acre or 5,000 square meter area houses more than 100 robots from 10 different companies. They train by day and read Philip K. Dick by night, all day, and their numbers are growing all the time. In the first phase, the center trains humanoids to perform 45 basic actions necessary for work in industry, household, and service sector. Dozens of operators repeat the same actions hundreds of times every day with slight nuances to create a training base for the robots. Today, the center generates up to 30,000 units of data daily, with the goal at least 50,000 units, while annually it's projected to be more than 10 million. Eventually, the Chinese plan to create a platform through which all humanoid robot manufacturers in the country can both train robots and populate their datasets. At the same time, engineers are working to make the platform compatible with any participating humanoid. As a result, the plan is to create a universal-based model of, quote, embodied intelligence, end quote. This approach is fundamentally different from what others are doing. For example, NVIDIA is also trying to attract different developers to add to the collection of data. Yet each company is trying to develop something different in order to get ahead of the competition. So instead of uniting forces, we're bickering about who's the big kahuna. Sound familiar, anybody? Now another Chinese startup, Magic Lab, has encroached on what we love most, the shopping cart. What do you think of this vision? Think Costco would want a piece of this? And here's Wheat's humanoid robot. It's also training to work in production and run, apparently, which is good. It'll get things done quicker, right? We'll actually probably see it in the upcoming Humanoid Robot Marathon, which was supposed to take place in China on April the 13th, but was postponed till the 19th, the earliest, due to bad weather. Now, we got our thumb on the pulse of this situation, so click that bell to root for your favorite robot when they squeeze off that starting gun. Next up, KEENON from Shanghai has unveiled its first semi-humanoid X-Man R1. They've been doing pretty well for themselves with autonomous service robots since 2010, so naturally, X-Man R1 can collaborate with other products of the company, like taking orders for food and beverage delivery in hotels and restaurants, like in Japan. KEENON says it has already delivered more than 100,000 robots to 60 countries in total. Their flagship semi-humanoid is designed to expand the robot's functions, plus draw more attention to customers' robotic solutions. The robot understands speech and can work with its hands, but as often is the case with grand openings like this, it's really hard to tell just how autonomous the humanoid actually is. And another assistant, but a very different one, has been unveiled by Pudu. Flashbot Arm also yearns to expand the line of service delivery robots. This one is claimed to have AI on board and is capable of autonomously performing a number of tasks in hotels, restaurants, and offices. Specifically, the press release states that Flashbot Arm is able to perceive, make decisions, and execute them in real time. You can tell the robot to work the elevator, pick up an item or two, and bring them to you, and it will. The robot's arms, with 7 degrees of freedom each, gives it a working range of 6.5 feet or 2 meters. Flashbot arm makes accurate 3D maps of wherever it is and plans the route itself, all the while avoiding obstacles. But then again, today almost every service robot can do this. The thing that Pudu's latest machine has a knack for, besides understanding speech, is also getting gestures and facial expressions, and then, based on its own analysis, producing a solution to whatever problem is afoot. Looks and sounds cool, but we'd like to see more before getting one of these for the office. What do you guys say? There's more, but we're out of time, so like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and check out our social media for more from the world of high tech.